Welcome to Module 7 of our CCNA journey. Today, we're opening up one of the most practical tools in your networking toolkit. Over the next few minutes, we'll unpack access control lists, or ACLs, what they are, how a router actually uses them to filter traffic, and why they sit at the heart of network security. Think of this as your first hands-on session with the gatekeepers of the network. So let's start with the core idea. An ACL is simply an ordered list of permit and deny rules, and the router walks that list top to bottom for every packet that arrives. The moment it finds a match, it acts, permit or deny, and stops looking. That's the mental model to lock in. First match wins, and if nothing matches, there's an invisible deny all waiting at the bottom, which is why order matters so much. Your specific rules need to come before the broader ones, or they'll never get reached. Now that we understand how the router walks the list, let's talk about the two flavors you'll actually configure. A standard ACL is the blunt instrument. It only looks at the source IP, and it lives in the number ranges 1 through 99 or 1300 through 1999. Because it's so coarse, you place it close to the destination. Otherwise, you risk blocking traffic the source legitimately needed elsewhere. An extended ACL is the surgical tool. It filters on source, destination, protocol, and port using ranges 100 to 120 or 2000 to 2699. Since it's precise, you put it close to the source and drop unwanted traffic before it ever burns bandwidth. Now, whichever flavor you choose, you'll need to tell the router which addresses to match, and that's where the wildcard mask comes in. Think of it as the inverse of a subnet mask. A 0 bit means this bit must match exactly, and a 1 bit means don't care. So 0.0.0 pins down a single host, 0.0.0.255 covers an entire 24, and 255.255.255 matches everything. That's literally what the any keyword expands to. And if you ever get stuck, just subtract each octet of the subnet mask from 255, and you've got your wildcard. With that wildcard logic in hand, let's put a standard ACL to work. Here on R1, we permit the 192.168.1.0 24 subnet, then explicitly deny 192.168.2.0 24 stir. And remember, order matters. The router checks top-down and stops at the first match. Then we hop into interface G01 and bind it outbound with IP access group 10 out. A quick show access lists later reveals hit counts per line. And don't forget that invisible deny any waiting at the bottom. Anything you haven't explicitly permitted is silently dropped. And that's standard ACLs in a nutshell, a blunt but powerful gatekeeper based purely on source IP. Up next in Lesson 2, we'll sharpen that tool with extended ACLs, where you can filter by source, destination, protocol, and port, far more surgical control over your traffic. If this lesson helped, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so the next one lands in your feed. See you in the next lesson.